Okay, so we are live and welcome to another episode of the AI Podcast. It is Wednesday, so we are talking AI. My name's Ginger Bell. Look at that. Steve has fireworks going off.
It doesn't work.
He's getting
It does with some people. There you go.
I love that. Scott Schang, always good to see you, my friend.
Hello.
And we have a very special guest that I am so excited to have join us today. So we have Mr. Thuan Nguyen with Loan Factory. So thank you so much for hopping on. You have been traveling. I think you were just in Houston. Is that right?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. Oh,
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah, I travel a lot, but I learn a lot when I travel. I learn a lot when I travel. Yeah, I love to have these podcasts like this so that everyone can learn. Learning is the key. Yeah,
it is the key. So I want to take a second and I want to introduce you to our audience. I know many of us have had an opportunity to chat with you before. You and I met a very long time ago, I think at a California mortgage professional event. And you weren't just getting started, but I think you were just beginning on this big vision. And I remember that so much. And so what I want to do is to take a few minutes. We are going to talk about AI. And I know you're doing a lot around that, which is going to be a great conversation. But I want to just take a minute and first of all, congratulate you because I know you have really just made a huge impact on the broker community and in building and have now reached, last I saw it was 900 originators. Is that right?
Yeah, we're going to hit 1,000 in a week. Or so.
In a week.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
So we roll.
Let's just call it 1,000 now. Come on.
Yeah, I'm keep counting it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to begin and I want you to just tell a little bit about you and your story and what amazing things that you are doing at Loan Factory, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So since we don't have a lot of time, I just try to make everything brief about myself. I am one of the top originator in the country. And on top of that, I build my company, I roll my company. I run into a lot of problems just like most other originator, but nothing can stop me. I love to solve problems. So when I achieve my goal, then I set another goal higher. And of course, I run into a lot of problems in order to achieve my goal. So I have to come up with a solution. So, you obviously, everyone here know that we're gonna encounter a lot of problems in our business. And the goal, the key is try to solve the problem. If you cannot solve the problem, you get stuck. So just like right after the pandemic, rates shot up so high, 95% of my business was refinanced.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I was shocked. I was facing the decision of whether to let go of most of my staff or do something. And I tried to work with realtor, try to bring in a lot more revenue, but it's impossible. The market changed so much. So, but I don't want to cut down my company, let go a lot of my staff who helped me so much. So I decided to open up my company and work with loan officer, partner with them, help them, provide everything I have to help the loan officer. And it turned out to be a great decision that I make. So there's always a solution if we try really hard.
Right. Well, and one of those things, and I know you're always thinking about how to improve the process. Yeah. And how to become better. And one of the strengths that you have and what you've built are technology and systems. And I know I was watching a video on your YouTube channel that you did an interview talking about the systems as far as processing and the steps, and you've streamlined that a bit. So tell me a little bit about your technology, and then we'll lead into the technology and the AI part as well.
Cool. So, I, 10 years ago, when I run into the problem of, how I can manage my transaction, make sure my client is happy. Back then there was no advanced technology. So I decided to build up our own technology, and it proved to be so good. And that's why the more I build the technology, the more benefit I see. So it gives me more confidence to invest even more into the technology, and it's really beneficial. So for example, in this industry, if we make a little mistake, that can lead to a huge problem.
Right.
So for example, my processor tend to forget doing things. Sometimes I looked at the transaction and they haven't touched it for a week,
Right.
and it's unacceptable. But then they say that they keep blaming that it's human error. I have too many transactions. I forgot. So in my view, it's not acceptable because the client will not accept that. So I come up with, because I have my own technology that allow me to solve almost any kind of problem. So the excuse of human error, human mistake, is not acceptable. So basically, I come up with a solution that they have to check every loan every day to make sure that they move it forward. So that solved the problem right away. So the power of a technology is so amazing. So another example is the client, they call me and say, Thuan, yesterday rate was so good, but you didn't tell me to lock. Today the rate jumped already. So you need to honor, it's your fault. You need to, can you give me the rate of yesterday? So I hate doing that. So I use technology so that we can send them the rate alert every morning, and we tell them to check your email and tell me when you want to lock the rate. So that way they cannot blame me. So those are the two examples to show you that we use technology to solve problems. And if we can solve problem, then the customer will be happy, the processor, the team, the loan officer, everyone will be happy, and our business can grow.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's pivot and talk about AI, because you are one of the first, and you've created a couple of different things that I'm aware of, and you probably have some more in the background that you're working on. But I know you have a GPT, you have a bot, and I think there's something as far as the application process. So walk us through how you've integrated AI.
So we use OpenAI as the backbone and build our model on top of it. So with OpenAI, it already understands the guideline of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But then it can learn about the company. So for example, we are heavily recruiting loan officers, and a lot of them ask questions about Loan Factory. They don't know anything about Loan Factory. So there are tons of questions. So basically we teach our AI everything about Loan Factory. AI can read everything on our website, and we give them tons of documents and question and answer for them to learn. And that way, AI will have all of these knowledge. And then the consumer or loan officer, they can just simply ask a question on our AI, and our AI will answer. That will replace a lot of customer service. So that is the first thing that we did.
And do people, are your customers and potential LOs learning about your company? Talk to me for a second about the authenticity and the accuracy of those responses that are coming from the AI, because I hear that a lot, like, hey, that sounds like it's a bot. It doesn't sound like it's a person. I don't trust it. How's that work with you all?
Correct. So of course, the accuracy is a big issue right now with with AI, and I think everyone is racing to try to make it more accurate. So at this stage, we still not release it to the public, but only the loan officer, the staff within the company. So right now, when we like consumer or the user ask a question, AI give an answer, right? And the user can give a thumb up, a thumb down, or type in the correct answer to teach AI. So that's how we continue to improve our AI and teaching our AI. Yeah. So I agree with you that the consumer is still, and even I myself is still not have a full confidence to roll out AI to the public yet, because we don't want AI to give out the wrong answer. It can be costly. So the plan right now is to have a customer service kind of monitor AI answer. So when the customer asks a question, we will have AI answer, but then the customer service personnel will read in everything. We monitor the conversation so that we can step in and fix the answer right away if it's wrong. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest challenge with AI right now is the user, not the AI. They get confusing output because people don't know how to ask their questions properly. Well, they don't know what they don't know. So they ask it, and anybody in the mortgage industry knows this. Most people don't have any idea what they really are trying to ask. Like they're asking something, but there's 3 other things that you need to know. And yeah, that's the big challenge. That's the big challenge.
Exactly. Because
the only
sometimes
way you're doing it is monitor it and correct it, because it'll learn eventually.
Yeah, because even you and I, right? If you ask the wrong question or you word it differently, then I misunderstand your question. I answered my own based on my understanding. So that is, I think that you hit the spot. The user didn't ask it correctly.
Yeah.
We cannot blame AI. It's just there's tons different way to ask a question, and it's easy to mislead the other party. Yeah.
Well, and even not just in the asking, but one of the biggest challenges that I find when I talk to people is getting it to provide the prompts and give the output in their voice, in their style, in their tone with the information. And there's so much you can do in ChatGPT. I've been doing a 4-week live workshop, and we've been going through uploading your transcript from your videos and your content, and getting it to write a style guide, and creating custom GPTs. And I think a lot of people don't even know, with that, you have the ability to basically program it so you can put in all of your standard information. From a compliance standpoint, it's huge, because as a company like your organization, you honestly could go and create custom GPTs for every single one of your loan originators. Yes. And have all your licensing information in there, have all of their websites in there, have all their social media sites in there. I mean, there's so many things you can do with it, but it's just a matter of getting started with it and knowing how to use it. And then the second part is getting your loan originators to start using it. Now, I've watched an interview with you, and I've watched it a couple of times because I'm enamored with you and your drive and your commitment. And one of the things that you said in this interview was that loan originators don't reinvest in themselves and market themselves. And, one of the things that you can use AI for is to streamline some of those processes and be able to use that. So what are you teaching your LOs as far as using AI and how to use it, especially for their marketing?
For now, we haven't rolled out to our LO yet.
Okay.
There are many applications of AI that we can start to apply. And at this moment, we use AI to help our client and helping our internal operation.
The internal side.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So for example, 2 weeks ago, we announced that we released the application, AI application.
Right. That's what I saw.
So the AI application is really cool. Basically, we all know that consumer hate filling out the mortgage application, right? And there's no way to help them yet. So with AI application, AI can help the consumer, and it can finish the application within like a minute.
Wow.
So basically, the consumer just start the application, right? AI will ask a question: do you want to fill it out manually, or you want to use AI to help you? And we will prompt the user to upload their driver license, pay stub, bank statement, tax return, everything. So AI will read all of that and populate the application for the consumer.
Wow.
So yeah, we save tons of time, especially when the application is complicated. Like if they have a 10 rental property, they have different kind of job and all that. So AI can read all the information, just like you and I. Right? We are a loan officer. We can look at the document and fill out application for our clients. AI is just like a human being, just like a loan officer. They can read information and fill out application. So that feature we roll it out, and we are in the process of getting feedback and improving it.
So let's talk about security, because obviously if they're uploading documents and non-public information. So I'm assuming you're using an enterprise account with OpenAI for that.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Of course. Yeah. We have to sign up with them, pay them, and we have to go through the entire process. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you're using AI as enterprise. You didn't just build a UI and you're not just using the API. You signed up for
No.
enterprise.
I'm not sure my team did it.
Oh,
My tech team did it. We just pay them for using their API. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's the thing, as our audience is listening to this, that, those are things you want to think about, because it is an open source. So that means it's not secure. So those are the things that, if you're thinking about trying this on your own, it's one of those things. But definitely there are the abilities of it to do that, but it needs to be secured. So I think that's the thing.
Yeah, and our website entirely secure. When consumer fill out application, it's always protected. Yeah.
What
So
one thing, and Thuan, I don't know if you remember, I met you in Vegas 2 years ago. We had a great time chatting.
Yeah.
And I put this on trying to get people to join our webinar here today. You're cutting edge. You got your finger on the pulse, and you have no problem sharing information and your opinion. So my comment to everybody that's listening, if there's one time you ever wanted to ask a question, this is the guy to ask the question to, because so chat, put in that chat box wherever we got him there, Ginger.
Yeah.
Because what I hear him saying is there's stuff that the individual can do with AI, and there's stuff that the company has to set up for the AI, and they're not necessarily the same thing. So think about what he's saying is sometimes it's like, this is how I'm going to use it first. This is how we're setting up for the company. Always remember there's those two funnels.
Yes,
but
I can. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve.
No, and so I just want to encourage people to ask questions, because I know you're about as open as anybody I've ever met in answering questions. And
besides OpenAI.
Yeah, I love to share what I'm doing. It's all about learning, right? So I want to share. And besides application AI application, we also doing many other improvement, many other cool projects. So for example, we call that validation, AI validation. So when the consumer, they upload the document, we detect what type of document it is. So when they fill out an application, we can detect if they are self-employed or not. And we generate a list of documents that we require from the borrower. And we can detect what documents have been uploaded already and match it up with the list of documents that we need from the borrower. And we recognize the document, right? And then we can validate the document. For example, bank statement. If it have 4 pages and most of the clients, when they see the last page is empty, they don't submit it. So they submit 3 pages. So AI can detect that, oh, there's 3 or 4 and you submit only 3 pages. So missing 1 page. So we pop up and tell the client, hey, there's a missing page and you uploaded it. We detect it right away. Instead of, send it to the lender and then the lender send back and forth, it takes like probably 10 days to solve that problem. So now AI can detect and solve it right away. Or another example is the evidence of insurance. The dwelling coverage has to be sufficient compared to the loan amount. Or the replacement cost value have to show up in there, right? But sometimes it's missing or it's not sufficient. So AI can detect all of this and pop up and say, this document is not sufficient, it's missing this or this, that will, it helps save tons of time. Not only our time, the borrower time, but also the lender, underwriter as well. So there's a lot of application that we can use AI for our benefit. And then we also working on having AI calculate the DTI, right? If they can read the document, they can get all the data in the document, they can calculate DTI. So that project we are working on. So hopefully in about 2 to 3 months, we're going to have it done. So that way, AI can calculate DTI and show the borrower, hey, you're likely to qualify or you might not qualify because of this. We show them all the calculation. The more transparency and upfront, the better. So those are the things that we are working on right now.
So when you said you built your own technology, you built your own LOS, your own LOS and POS, right?
Yeah, we build everything: LOS, POS, pricing engine, CRM, marketing, everything.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's the only way you can integrate this stuff.
And we're gonna take it a lot further.
Yeah.
A user can ask AI, what is today's rate? What is my rate if I buy a house 500,000 and make 20% down and my credit score is 720? So AI can answer, and
well, you can calculate from a client's record based on their 1003.
Exactly.
And
and then take it even further with the chatgptforloanofficers. We are planning to roll out a mobile app.
Yeah.
And on mobile app, the consumer can tap on the button to fill out application. And then instead of filling out the application, you can talk.
Yeah,
you can talk. The phone will talk to you and say, what is your name? What is your address? What is the purchase price? That I will interview the consumer and take all the information and fill out application. It's so much easier than having a 70 years old borrower to go in and fill out the application manually. So, and it can be in many different types of languages too.
Oh, yeah.
Language barrier is another problem. So I see that there's so much possibility with AI right now. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, that's amazing. They could speak in their native language and it could translate it in English for the 1003.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you think about that as far as being a loan originator. So I know loan originators like, okay, everything you're telling me is like, what's my job going to be a part of this? Right. But I mean, still very much that, everyone, when the internet, came about, I was working at Dale Carnegie training at the time, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, there's not going to be any salespeople anymore. Everything's going to be done on the internet. And we know that's not the case. Right. Yes. So at this time, you're creating all the back end technology. So by, the pricing engine, the taking the application, communicating, reading the documents back and forth. the loan officer's job is still being that person. So, in my opinion, people say it's like, is AI going to replace a loan officer? No, but that loan officer needs to be at the forefront of beginning that and still educating in that process. And so, making the videos, doing the podcast, getting out there, being part of the community is what every loan officer needs to be working on right now. And then obviously working with a company that has that technology helps to leverage them because, and Scott, you've said it, Steve, you've said it, we've heard it over and over again. It's not a matter of AI replacing the loan officer. It's just the loan officers that don't embrace AI are the ones that will be replaced, and the companies as well. I mean, you're showing that in one of the toughest times our industry has seen, and you're growing monumentally. Your leadership, your passion, your technology, all of those things, that's is what stands out, right?
Yes, yes. I mean, technology, if you look at the past, like 20 years ago, everyone say that real estate agent will not be needed anymore with the internet, right? But now you see real estate agents still close 99% of the transaction. And mortgage is a lot more complicated than the real estate transaction, a lot more complicated. So I don't think, no matter how advanced AI can be, I don't think even 30 years from now, loan officer can be replaced. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think underwriting will change.
Yes.
Because all underwriting is just risk assessment, and that can be done right now with AI. But the powers that be are never going to let loose of those reins right now. But the role of the loan officer, Ginger, you absolutely nailed it. The role of the loan officer is the relationship.
Yep.
And that's what it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
And Thuan, what you're doing is fantastic because you're empowering those loan officers to just be that relationship and not have to worry about the calculations and the documentation and all that stuff. That stuff is going to go away, but that's going to require deeper relationships and people-to-people relationships. And I think that's where it's going to go.
Yep, 100%. Absolutely. Well, I want to, before we close out, because we do keep this at 30 minutes, I want Thuan for you to have an opportunity. First of all, we'd love to have you back again because it's always great to have someone that has such great leadership and passion for our industry as you do. So thank you. And then also for those of you who are watching this, because we do record and post this, so we get a lot of people that view and listen later on our podcast, how can people find out about you?
About you,
Thuan. Yeah. About your company, about Loan Factory.
It's all about you, my man. It's all about you.
I am everywhere. You can reach out to me, especially on Facebook. You can search Loan Factory. You can see me. You can go to loanfactory.com. You can see me. I ran the company. I'm everywhere. I do a lot of recruiting. So I'm travel across the country. I travel at least 2 times a month. I meet so many loan officers. My goal is to educate them. I see loan officer, like Scott said, do not train themselves, do not try to improve themselves. So I try to share my knowledge and tell them what they need to do if they want to be successful, because things have changed so fast. And loan officer that waiting for market to get better it might not happen. So you have to go out there and learn and build relationship. Like Scott said, it's the relationship business. You need to be so active on social media. You have to let everyone know about you, the whole community, all your friends and friends of friends. Everyone have to know about you if you want to be successful. So and attending and listening to this podcast is a must too, to get updated with what is going on with the technology. And you have to somehow to move along with the technology. You cannot expect that people will work with you and like you because the next generation, everyone gonna use AI. Everything gonna be on social media, and if you don't use social media, you don't use AI, you're gonna fall behind. So my advice is to just listen into this podcast. Look at feel free to reach out to me if you have questions for me.
I love that. Very good. So we're going to close this out. And for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, you can find us at aiclubhouse.co. We have a Facebook group. We post a lot of different things in there. And so make sure and join us. We meet every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. And next week, I think, Scott, you opened up when we were in the green room talking about a new thing you were working on. So I think that that will be our topic for next week, if you're so inclined. You want to give your experiment. Scott's always experimenting. You want to give a little teaser?
I don't remember what thing specifically, and I don't know.
Oh, the spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet. Yeah, I don't know how that applies. Well, it kind of applies. I'd have to think about that. But yeah, I can share it. I have to think about how to apply it to mortgage. Thuan's already doing it. Putting in the documentation, having a search for things and stuff like that. So
yeah,
okay, I'll have to think about it. But yeah, I think that's something, because 4.0 introduced something very unique. Because now custom GPTs are available to anybody.
Right.
You don't have to pay for OpenAI. So, okay. Yeah, we'll have something fun for next week.
Okay. Something fun for Scott. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. Thanks so much.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.